And we're live. There you go. It is the Dirty Four without Claudio, but we replace him with David Weiss. So I guess that's going to be interesting.
It's probably better. It's probably better. It's
probably better with less spelling mistake, and you all hear my fucking accent. That's the best part. So I am with Peter Bowen. Peter, this is what it is, Bowen, and I'm with Victoria Blair and our guest, David Weiss from, do you prefer I said Weiss or Weiss like German?
Weiss like ice. Whatever you like.
Weiss like ice. There you go.
That's what it is.
So, David Weiss from the Flat
I've been called worse things.
Oh, goddamn.
Oh, yeah. I guess you did.
Me too. And from my credit card companies. It's crazy. It's nuts, man.
Yeah. And before we start, I just want to say that just because you guys think we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum, I'm not going to look down at you or make fun of you. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, right. That's all right. That's what it is, man.
We can be friends with different understandings. Or
yeah, that's for sure. But I'm a big believer of that. All right. So let's get started. First of all, talk a bit about yourself. Like, what is your background? Do you have any scientific training, or what do you do to pay the bills, basically?
I used to be a regular businessman. All as well. I had a podcast on the side looking into all sorts of different things. And then I was forced to look into the flat earth unwillingly, kicking and screaming. I mean, come on, flat earth. That's ridiculous.
Wait. Who fucking forced you to watch into
what happened?
So I did a podcast and people started sending me emails saying, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat earth? And I thought it was a joke, but then they just kept coming. And then they were hammering me on our Facebook page or social media. So like any smart person, I would just ban them from our social media for being so stupid to even suggest such a dumb thing. And then another researcher that I respect very much, she said to me one day, she goes, I was saying how much deception there is in this world. It's amazing. And she goes, oh, David, it's worse than that. I think the earth might be flat. Check this out. And so that I was what? And so I went in with not an open mind, with a closed mind. I was going to disprove flat earth, easy, because there's a million proofs of the globe. But then when I actually stopped to do it and I looked and I'm like, none of this makes any sense. The globe is ridiculous. And I came out the other side going, oh my God, the earth is flat. I actually kept it quiet. I didn't bring it up on the podcast for 6 months because I didn't want to discredit all of the other work that we did. But then I just realized this truth is the most important truth of our time. And we'll get into that a little bit later in the show, why it is.
Okay.
Definitely.
And so there I am.
That's the thing that has kind of been bothering me with the whole flat earth thing. Like it's not only like, because I do believe it's the spinning ball and everything, but like it's not necessarily the belief in itself, but that there's so many people in all the deception, like the government are doing, all the lies and everything. You decided that's gonna be that topic that you're gonna die on the hill for.
Because I mean, I believe the earth is round, but I don't give a shit.
Well,
like, I don't care.
But you believe in the simulation, though.
I
believe in the simulation.
All the simulation works better on a flat earth. We'll get into that. But when people say I don't care, by the way, I was you. I said I don't care what shape it is. I still have to go to work, right? I still have to pay my bills. None of it matters. Let me ask you a question. Are you happy that you work all the way until May for free and you give all of your money to the government? All the money between January and May, you're giving to the government.
No, we're not.
Right? And they're funding things like NASA, $65 million a day.
Well, that's not actually my money, but we're funding something shittier, our healthcare system. So go on. I think we can agree on this one.
There's no way your healthcare system is shittier than NASA, because NASA is a Hollywood studio meant to deceive mankind. That's all they are.
Okay.
Right? And so we'll get into all of that. But what I'm saying is when you say you don't care, it's because you don't know how important it is. Once you realize, I mean, imagine this, Victoria, you lived on a tiny island that's 50 miles around. And anytime you turn 40, the person disappears in the middle of the night and they're gone. And that's just for everybody. When you turn 40, the next morning you're gone. But that's the life you live. You live until you're 40, then you're gone. And this is your entire life. It's all there is. But and you have all these other continents out there. You're on this little island and you're like, I don't care that there's more out there. What difference does it make? I don't need to know that there's more. I don't need to know that we can live long past 40. I don't need to know any of that. That's crazy. That is what you're saying. When you understand what the flat earth is, then you realize, wow, it really does matter. It's not the shape that matters. It's the lie that matters. Good.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but like, and with traveling around, yeah, you see a lot. But actually, we'll get more deep into it because like I'm really interested in because I was actually reading some stuff on it and I was like, okay, I didn't know it was like very like is there different types of thinking of the flat Earth?
Absolutely. There's different models. Well, not different model. Well, there's places we're not allowed to go to. So let me describe what the flat Earth is and what it isn't real quick, and then I'll explain how there's different thinking and what it is. But one thing that we all agree upon: we don't live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum because that's just impossible.
For this episode, that's what we're doing.
Well, that's what you're doing. Yeah. But by the end of this episode, I'm going to ask you guys two questions. One, do you think the Earth is a ball or a globe? And if you say yes, it's a ball, I'm going to ask you, can you give me one proof? And let's see by the end of this episode if you're able to give me one proof that you live on a globe. All right, because I'm going to show you many things that prove we live on a flat Earth.
Got it.
And any one of those would suffice in the answer if you said it's flat because, boom, you have a reason. But at the end of this, if you guys listen, if I'm able to present, now we are on StreamYard. I'm not on Zoom, so I don't have access to all my videos and all the images. So I'm going to do a lot more talking. But
you can actually you could
I can share screen. I know, but I will do that the best I can. But it's different. I'm not complaining. I'm just being a little.
Yeah, no worries.
I can be a little bit sometimes. Yeah. So the flat Earth is not a disk floating in space. We're not a disk planet. We're not floating in space. There's not other disk planets or round planets. None of that is what flat Earth is. Flat Earth.
What the moon is, though.
Yeah, well, hold on. We'll get one question at a time. Let me just explain what flat Earth is, and then you guys can start nailing me with the questions, and we'll go through them one by one.
Joey.
Yeah, Joey's excited, man. He's excited, man. He's excited.
Right. I'm looking at the skies. I'm like, I have a big ball about to blind me if I look way too long into it.
So real quick, what the flat Earth is think of what a puddle is. A puddle is where water accumulates at the low spot in the land, and the edge of the puddle is just where the water's higher. A pond is a bigger puddle. A lake is a bigger pond. And then the flat Earth is a giant lake. So the Earth is a giant lake, right?
Right.
And all of the continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land. This land is the highest land on Earth. They don't teach you this in school. This land is called Antarctica. Antarctica is the shoreline of the world pond, period. You don't go to the edge of the pond and fall off into space. You step off onto Antarctica, which goes for, we don't know how far it goes because no one's allowed to explore there. We'll get into that in a little bit. But Antarctica is likely bigger, right? And we're told that Antarctica is the bottom of a ball, a little continent. There's no pictures of it or anything from space. Right. But in all likelihood, Antarctica is bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined. It is the land that surrounds the world pond. If you were going to take a bath, Victoria, and all of a sudden I snapped my fingers and the bathtub disappeared, could you still take a bath? You can't because water needs to be contained in a container. Antarctica is the land, the container that holds our water. Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, provably, testably, scientifically, observably flat.
Right.
That's the container of our water. So we don't live on a spinning
ball. Before we continue,
ball.
though, we have somebody with a question. Not really scientific, but since it's the Dirty Four and we have our fan base that we have, there we go.
let's hear them.
So a question in regards of the flat Earth. Which do you prefer, flat boobs or butts or round boobs and butts?
I mean, technically, they believe in domes, so it's still the same thing. You know, same.
I prefer dome boobs and butts.
Yeah, that's where it is. I'm down. There it is, man. That's what it is, man. I see. Now I'm down with the movement. No, but recall it. No, okay, so now, wait. I just want to ask a question, okay, about the Antarctica, okay, and I guess we like connected with the Arctic. So, are you saying since it's like, let's say it's like a dome shape or just like a flat edge that holds the water mass together? Are you saying like that?
Go ahead.
Like,
I'm sorry.
Sorry. Are you saying like the ends is like space? So it's like the space. So space, since space is supposed to be cold, after Antarctica would be space type thing. Past the dome?
No. So think of the world as a endless. We'll just call it endless. It's like space. Is space endless? The Earth is the basement of the universe. It's the foundation of the universe. We're in this puddle. Okay, so we're looking down. We're in this puddle, and all of this is ice. Now, what's beyond here? Well, no one's allowed to go far beyond there. The Antarctic Treaty that was put together in 1959 or 57, I forget, doesn't let anyone go beyond 60 degrees south, which is this pink line here. No person, no corporation, nobody is allowed to explore independently outside of that line. And that treaty can't even be questioned until the year 2041. Okay. It was put together 1959, right? And by 2041, they're going to kick it down the road another 60 years. And the reason is because if you went out here, you would know you didn't live on a ball. And then that starts unwinding everything else. So
sure, it's not about them bickering for a piece of land.
It's not what?
Sure it's not about them bickering for some piece of land or another, the kind of things country used to do.
Yeah, they just don't want anyone to lay claim to Antarctica.
Well, that's a part of the story that they give us, and we have to protect the penguins and the ice. But what if? Not
what I said, Bill.
What if beyond Antarctica, there was more oceans and more continents?
That'd be so cool.
Extra land, more land, extra. What's land called? Territory, extra terra, extraterrestrials come from the outer space beyond Antarctica across the Earth plane. That makes sense. Peter, wait, I saw you raise your hand.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We got it. So okay, you know what I mean. I don't want to be rude.
I like the hand raise. It's nice.
I love it. You know what I mean? It's your show.
French guy.
That's it. Your show. It's your show. So okay, here's another thing because I know it's like different schools of thought. Do you believe there's a vacuum, a space, or anything like that?
Well, so a lot of flat earthers believe there's a physical dome over us, whether it's a glass or frozen ice or just plasma. I don't know, but they believe it because you can't have high pressure next to no pressure or low pressure without a physical barrier. Like if I had a 2-story house and on the second story I made it airtight and I sucked all the air out of it, and I had a valve hanging down through the ceiling. If I open that valve, what's going to happen? All the air is going to go right up and equalize in that space.
Yeah.
If space was a vacuum, all of the air would suck out of the Earth. And the only explanation that you can give me that it's not getting sucked into space is gravity. Gravity's holding the air down.
Yeah.
Well, that's
so
the case,
what is your counter argument now?
How can I put a straw downwards and with the weak low pressure of my mouth and lungs suck air and water up and away from the Earth effortlessly? Right? That's not nearly a vacuum. It's literally a tiny bit of low pressure will suck air and water up and away from Earth at any altitude. So why doesn't the vacuum of space suck all the air off? Okay. It's because space is not a vacuum. Space doesn't exist as described. We think space is water.
But okay, that's what
space is water.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
Most of us do. Most of us do. Wait, last thing, and then we'll let you talk. Is anything above the highest that we can get as a civilian, and anything beyond the shoreline of Antarctica, where you can go and see a sightseeing tour, is speculation. We don't know. So we can talk about things that are here under our feet. We can show you how they work. We can do scientific measurements, and we can show you that the Earth is flat and stationary. So there you go. Sorry, Victoria. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, if there's like a bunch, I like spill a bunch of food on my table, right? And I try to suck it up with a straw. Let's say I'm sucking up a macaroni, right? And there's sauce on it. The sauce is gonna stay on the macaroni.
What?
I'm not sucking the sauce off the macaroni. It's just gonna float up to my mouth, and whatever's on it is gonna stay on it. And I think that the theory of the vacuum is that time that the macaroni is going up to my mouth is just like stretched to infinity, and that's where we are.
No, the reason that the macaroni goes up the straw is because above the macaroni is lower pressure than below the macaroni, and the pressure is trying to equalize, and it pushes the macaroni up the straw.
But the sauce doesn't come off, so the water will come off the Earth.
What?
I'm gonna pass on this one.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna pass on this one.
That was the macaroni physics theory.
Yeah, you know what? You higher flat Earth macaroni and sauce.
God, see, this is uniting of the globe and the flat earthers.
Thank God she's not blonde, because then the jokes would just keep going. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Well, guess what? You don't know that Vic. No, I'm joking.
But, okay, just a quick question, because that was one of the point I was really interested about the flat earther thing. I know that there's a movement around it. So how those things started? Like, who is the patient zero of the flat earth movement?
Well, there's really no patient zero. Everyone has known the Earth is flat. Every single civilization before this round has all their cosmology is flat Earth. And as a matter of fact, everyone in the early 1900s worldwide knew the Earth was flat. They were teaching flat Earth in schools, public schools in the United States in the 1920s. In the 1930s, they were still teaching it in Croatia and other countries. We found newspaper articles on microfilm about teachers being persecuted and threatened with jail for trying to teach the globe model in schools. And that's when our world was hijacked.
But at the same time, they were burning witches too. So like,
well, you know, unless you were there back then,
that's very true. That's very true.
You don't know, but we have people that are over 100 years old that will testify that they were taught the Earth was flat, and it wasn't until the 1920s and 30s that it all changed.
That is interesting, though. I believe that, though. I believe that because I like, you know, school always like tamper with like what they want to give. They'll say like we founded in North America with natives here, so it's like you don't know where they're gonna go with that. But I'm like, no, I'm interested in like. Oh, wait, I forgot the question I was going to go. Okay, I'll pass to you guys. Once again.
But at the same time, historically, that's not necessarily true because there were Greek in Alexandria that figured out that but
mathematically.
They mathematically tried to prove that the Earth was round with the angle of the sun in a well. And then through that, he managed to figure out that the Earth was round and also to calculate its circumference. That was a well-established fact, like even in the Middle Age, when you look the scholars back then, like
let's talk about that.
The scholars back then, they had like they knew the Earth was round. It's not a.
So you're talking about Aristophanes. Aristophanes was the Greek. So Aristophanes is just a story. He doesn't show up until textbooks until the late 1900s. Okay, he was a mathematician back then, but the story of his sticks and wells wasn't even in books until the late 1900s. So this is the story that the rays are the sun so far away, which is an assumption that they come in parallel, which is no one ever observes parallel rays. They'll just go outside and watch the sun come through the clouds. They don't come through parallel. They come through like a local light source. And because this stick had no shadow, this one had a shadow. You can do some math. Okay, that's a right angle. This is this. I know the distance between these two, and you can figure out the size of the ball. But on the flat Earth model, the Earth and the sun is small and close. So there's no shadow over this stick. We get the same shadow over here that we're getting over here. So I can do some math and tell you that the math says that this straight line is a sphere, but it's not. It's flat.
Is the sun?
Well, that's a great question because the sun doesn't act like a physical object. Right? If you lose your iPhone, you can get towers to triangulate and figure out where it is, right? The more towers that triangulate, the more accurate it can get its location with all of the calculations that it does, right? You understand triangulation?
Yeah.
But if you have two people triangulating the sun, you'll get a position. Then you add a third or fourth or fifth person in different positions. The calculation goes crazy and the sun goes way out of whack. Because everyone that sees the sun sees it in a different position. It's more like a reflection. And I'll describe how that works real quick. If two of us were standing outside 100 feet apart and there was a giant mirror upright that we were looking at and the sun was setting behind us, okay? We're both looking in the mirror at the sun, okay? Victoria, you're 100 feet to my right. So, Peter, I send you up to the mirror with a Sharpie and I say, hey, I see the sun right there. And you circle it. And I'm like, okay, I see the sun in that circle. He walks over to you, Victoria. You point at the sun, and it's 100 feet to the right. His circle that he drew for your sun is 100 feet over. So if we tried to triangulate thinking that those two circles were in the same place, it's not going to work. And you had a third person, it's going to be even farther off. Okay. So the sun that we see is being projected into our reality, in my opinion. But again, it's above our heads.
Yeah. Okay. So, because I was trying to put like two questions at the same time together in my head. Like, okay. So my first question would be do you think the Earth was like a man-made thing? So it's like.
Great question. So in the heliocentric model, this is the story of the heliocentric model. This is what you have to believe if you live on a ball. Right. Once upon a time, there was nothing. It exploded and created everything. And then all of the rocks and heavy matter got sucked together. Somehow the little pieces started getting gravity and they started pulling things together and started spinning and created worlds. And then all of the gases, somehow all of the hydrogen and helium, they coalesced into bigger balls, leaving a vacuum in between. That's insanity. That's just the beginning. Right. So then the ball is spinning and orbiting because of gravity, and it's lightning struck and somehow created DNA. That's like me, throwing a pencil at a tree and it writing the Bible, okay, or writing a textbook, right? That's insanity. Couldn't even happen. And then the amoeba turned into a fish that grew legs, that found another sexy fish that grew legs, had a monkey, and the monkey had a human, and that you're flying through an infinite vacuum. That's what you have to believe, okay? Right. Versus when you understand that the world is intelligently designed. I don't know who the designer is. No, but somebody designed it. It's created. So
yeah, that's something.
I just leave it at.
Always belong to that. Yeah.
There's a creator. Period. Yeah. Right. That's your journey after there.
Yeah. Something like I do believe in religion, but like at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to see like, okay, what point of reference? So let's say like Elon Musk. Let's say he's just like, okay,
Elon Musk.
We get in the jet. We go on a jet, right? We go on a jet and we go up. It's almost like the God question, but I'm not gonna. What point of reference would you believe? Like how far up would you have to go to see like, okay, whether you prove if the Earth is flat or just a dome, or is the whole globe just in general? Like how far do we have to?
Yeah, it's kind of like a straw man argument, though, because here's the thing. If you got a flat earther and a ball earther, and let's say we can get up to 300,000 feet, the globe earther would look down and say he sees a ball because he's seeing in a flat circle. Like when you look any distance, wherever the convergence point is, where the sky touches the land, that's X distance. And if that's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that's a big flat circle. Your brain will see a sphere if you believe it's a sphere, but a flat earther will look at that and say, oh, I'm just seeing in a circle. It's a flat round table. So the question is, how high would I have to go? I'd have to go high enough to see an actual edge of the ball and a curving edge of the ball. I'd have to go where I could zoom in and see a cruise ship upside down.
So which has never happened. Like you pretty much want to see like the end of the plane. So
it's not just the end of the plane, because you would need to back up so you can see space beyond the end of the plane, but you'll never see it. You'll never see that. So here's a picture of these are two pictures from NASA. Okay, this is the blue marble that was on everyone's iPhone. The guy that made it in Photoshop, Robert Simmons, a NASA visual artist, admitted that he made it from strips of data in Photoshop. He admitted it, right? Here's one that they took a few years later. Look at the size of the United States, right? These balls are the same size.
Right.
That's insanity. Now let's take a look at this one. If we look at it, let's see something, the thing. We can't verify anything NASA does, but we can look at their images. Look at this one, for example, right? So this is something we can measure. We can measure the distance by driving across Mexico. We can take a boat that goes 20 miles an hour and measure how long it takes to get across the bay. We can drive across Baja, and we can see the distance, which is, what is that,
934 miles?
Yeah, so 934 miles is this stretch. This is supposed to be a photograph of Earth. Well, the diameter of the Earth is 7,917 miles. So a straight line between these two red lines, I should be able to fit 8.5 of these. I can't fit 8.5 of these on this page, right? So either the Earth is a quarter of the size they tell us it is, and half the continents don't exist, silly, or this is a painting and NASA is nothing but liars.
Right.
Just a quick question, though. They might, because when you say it's a Photoshop, but they might have other explanation why they Photoshop it. Like I remember they did something they put, because the other explanation would be like they'd never get as high to pick the whole planet as a globe. So they
but somehow they can get pictures of all of the other planets. Like we just sent a rover to Mars that landed there the other day, which is the dumbest thing ever.
No, we're further from Mars.
Yeah, but how come we didn't turn around and take a picture of Earth? How come they didn't take how come we don't have a camera on the moon filming Earth rotating and watching eclipses happen from the moon? How come we don't have any photos of any planets that are real? It's crazy,
you think
right?
Mars is not real?
So are you saying like, okay, obviously, let's say it's a dome. Okay, that's the thing we're going with. It's a dome. You can simulate pretty much the other planets. That's what you're saying. So they could control what you're seeing, type thing, or
say that again. I'm sorry.
So let's say like the sky, like if it's a dome, and let's say the governments could control or natural whatever can control it. So what like if we look in a telescope and look at the planets, are we seeing a simulation of the planets, or are we seeing like
great question. The only pictures that we have of planets are from NASA and Disney. Okay, and Disney's more credible than NASA at this point, and they show us these rocky worlds and they tell us these crazy things, but it's all provably fake. You know, the moon landing's so provably fake, it's unreal. But people have this belief in these planets when in fact they're just lights within the Earth system. They're energetic lights named after gods for some reason.
Yeah.
Not sure though. Like it seems to me like there's some old treaty that was talking about them as being planets. Like it's not something that
they used to be called wandering stars. So again, you know, the most famous picture of Jupiter is from 2014. It's in every textbook, and everyone was amazed. We got the round dot. You know, we have the storm and everything. And then in 2016, all of a sudden they said, "Hey, Jupiter has provable that it has a magnetic core in the North Pole because we got a picture of the Northern Lights." Right? This is crazy. Look at that Northern Lights. You could do that in MS Paint. You know, you don't even need Photoshop, right? But if you overlay these on top of each other and change the transparency so you can see through, you'll see that every single cloud is exactly the same 2.5 years apart. That's impossible 2 hours apart, okay? Yeah. But 2.5 years apart, every single ripple is there. Every single dot. See that dot? It's right there.
But at the same time, we couldn't we can't really understand like the like the gas planets. Like we don't live on. Like let's say like if you're let's say as a globe thinkers, like we can't really comprehend like how a gas planet works.
You're right, because it doesn't work. It doesn't exist. How can a gas planet exist in a vacuum?
But
nature abhors a vacuum. It's impossible.
Depending on the
magnetic. Because it doesn't. It's something I already said to somebody, but it's not because it doesn't make sense or you don't understand it. That means it doesn't exist. That just means we didn't study it hard enough.
Say that again.
I mean, what I mean to say is like it's not because that doesn't seem to make sense or it doesn't make sense, so it doesn't exist. I think it's a pretty faulty logic.
Well, it makes no sense. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm proving to you that they're lying about Jupiter right here. This is showing you that they're lying. So why are they lying about Jupiter if it's real? How are they, you know, why are they lying to us about all photos from space? They're lying to us about everything. And it's not until you're able to understand how big the lie is that you're able to see the truth.
But actually, there's another.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was another thing that I was hearing, like it was on a Joe Rogan podcast. So I'm not going to quote verbatim because like it's all off memory. But they were saying like, let's say like the Apollo missions. Yeah, they were doing it in studios because they're saying that the recording on the ships weren't like up to quality. They're not like up to our standards. So it would be like fuzzy to us. So they kind of like it's like everything that they were showing was like a reenactment. That was like a theory.
Yeah. So Joe Rogan used to be the poster boy for the moon landing being hoax. Yeah. And his famous quote is, "There's no way you will ever convince me that the moon landing was real." Right? No way. And he basically was destroying it. His audience was so big. Then one day he had Neil deGrasse Tyson on. Yeah. And Neil, he's like, "Oh, really, Neil? Oh." And he just bowed down and basically, you know, put Neil in his mouth. And then he got a contract for he got a huge television contract. Joe Rogan discovers everything, and he became a complete sellout. I have a video of Joe Rogan saying he would lie to his mother for money, okay, and just give him the truth, give him the whatever. And so he's out there. He is the head shill. Joe does put out some good shows, but anytime they want to push an agenda, they have they send Neil in there, and get the space agenda. It's all
maybe
all
they
nonsense.
really believe it though. It's
What's
not
that?
necessarily them. Maybe it's not necessarily them pushing an agenda. Maybe they're actually believing it.
Yeah.
Who's actually believing it?
Neil
Joe
Neil
Rogan,
deGrasse.
I
deGrasse
mean,
Neil deGrasse.
Tyson, maybe
You're
Neil
saying
deGrasse Tyson.
Neil
Yeah.
deGrasse Tyson will never talk to any of us because he says the science is settled. Well, that's the definition of science, is that it's never settled, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people believe anything, right? Over here, hold on, here it comes. Oh, on over here, this is a picture of the Mars. Whoops, this is a picture of the Mars because you can tell the rover.
Is
this
that
is the old.
really?
This is from NASA, and you can see the Mars rover right here.
He's
Right.
taking a selfie.
Right. Well, it always captures a little bit in the picture, but over here is a picture from Greenland.
Yeah.
Every single rock, every single line, every single tuft is the same. All they did was get rid of the sky. They turned it a sepia tone, and they told you it's from Mars, and they stuck this thing in there. I could do this with any photo inside of 3 minutes and tell you it's Mars. But this is them being busted. Why are they lying?
That's my question. Why they will waste their time with that? If I want to manipulate people, is it the lie I'm going to go for? Really?
But maybe it's with the Russians. They're trying to one up the Russians all the time.
Well, see, that's another lie. The whole division of the world and the Russian space race, all of that is lie. All of the space agencies, Russia, JAXA, NASA, whatever, NASA, and they're all in it together. All the private space agencies, that's all just it's all part of the deception. Nobody goes to space because space doesn't exist, right? They show us garbage. We catch them red-handed all the time. They will never discuss us, but they will make video after video after video, gaslighting us, and straw manning us they're saying things that we don't believe, like we believe them. And everyone goes, oh, flat earth is stupid because if there was an eclipse of a flat earth, it would look like this, right? Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that the earth is a disk floating in space eclipsing the moon. Nobody believes any of that. People believe this is real, all right? Because NASA does their training. Do you know where they do their training? They do their training in a pool that has green screens. Okay.
Yeah.
And so all of their stuff, when they're doing their spacewalks, they're either using this thing called the Argus system where they're hanging from cables, or they're swimming in pools. And in real time, they can take out the scuba divers that are helping move them around and everything. Right, but we'll catch like little bubbles going across the screen. There's so many things that we catch them with. It's unreal, and there's nothing they can do. They're just caught lying. But here, let's talk about something that proves that the Earth is flat. You ready? That we can actually do. You can do it yourself. You can measure it.
Let's do it.
Good.
Wait. I have a couple.
Joey has a question.
Okay, yeah, Joey, go first.
I have one thing, like when you show the Jupiter map and it said, oh, that's what they said in 2014 and that's what they said in 2016. And then you proceed to say, yes, science is never settled. But I mean, ain't that a proof of what you just said, though? Like maybe like they discovered new things about Jupiter. They're not.
How
they're
can
not
this?
lying. The way science works is like they figure out new information and they're like, well, what we believe is actually bullshit.
Joey.
Yeah.
They show NASA on their website has a black and white grainy time lapse of Jupiter over a course of a day or so, and this storm is spinning, and this entire dark strip is going this way. It's going clockwise. This strip is going counterclockwise. This strip is going clockwise. They're going in different directions. All the clouds are moving. These two pictures, 2.5 years apart, all of the clouds reset to the exact same position. So if you go out today and see random clouds all over the place, you take a picture, and then 2.5 years later, go out and take a picture of those same clouds. Is that a possibility?
No.
Okay. Yeah. NASA's lying. This is not Jupiter. This is an artist's rendition of what they want us to think Jupiter is. There are no gas balls in a vacuum.
I mean, I don't know. Did you really study like what they're saying about it, or you just like extrapolated the way gravity works on Earth and then said that cannot work because that's how the Earth works?
Gravity doesn't work on Earth. Yes, I have studied it nonstop for 6 years. Okay, cool. Nonstop. I have other very qualified people. We've been working on this nonstop, and we're in this not to prove that the Earth is flat. We're in there to find the truth. We're in here to look for some proof of curvature, some proof of a gas next to a vacuum without a barrier. Can't find it. Can't find it anywhere.
Because like even if the gas, like I understand what you're saying, even if the gas stays together because of gravity, why would it stay in the same exact position? It doesn't. It would have to be frozen or something,
Right.
but then it wouldn't be
Yeah.
gas.
Right. Very good. So what you realize here is what they're telling us is a lie. Period.
But
why are they lying? Are they like?
I'll answer that whenever you're ready.
Where we get to
I'm
reptilian
ready right now. Actually, I've been ready since I knew I was.
Peter wants to ask a question first. Go ahead.
Okay,
Peter.
so let's say like the magnetic core of our Earth, apparently. So you're saying like, because we barely understand that, like, and with the ozone layer and everything, like keeping together. So like on a planet that massive, don't you like? Do you think like maybe there's something maybe we don't understand about that, like just the core holding a planet together with magnets? Like, pretty much like they're saying like the sun's pretty much holding the solar system. So like what like in the flat Earth scenario, what would be the solar system in the flat Earth?
Yeah, so the solar system. We're gonna get into that in a second.
I love you. I love this guy.
So check this out. This is the meme that we all grew up on, that this is the core of the Earth. Here's all the layers and everything. Well, this is called the Kora borehole or something like that in Russia. It's the deepest hole ever dug. It's just about 7.5 miles. Yeah. And then they hit an impenetrable barrier. They could not drill through. They could not blow up. They tried for years. They couldn't get any deeper. So that's equivalent to drilling through the skin of an apple and only getting halfway through. While they were digging this hole, they were using ground penetrating radar to see what they were going to hit next. And they were wrong every step of the way. Hey, there's no more water. Oh, there's more water. Hey, there's no more big boulders. Oh, there's big boulders, right? So they couldn't even predict what was halfway through the skin. And then they hit an impenetrable barrier, but somehow they know what's at the core, 7,000 miles deep or 4,000 miles deep, whatever it is. That's pseudoscience. That's nonsense. That's poppycock. That is a meme, and you believe it because they say that there's a magnetic core. Well, check this out. All magnets have, no matter what they're made of, have a Curie point, and that's when you heat them up to a certain temperature. When they're about to go liquid, they lose their magnetism. So how is there a liquid magnetic core when you can't have a liquid magnet, right? So again, we don't know what's down there. Nobody does. So this whole magnetic core thing is ridiculous.
That we agree, because even at school when they teach me that, they say it's just an educated guess, basically.
There you go. Well, now you're getting somewhere.
But that doesn't mean they're wrong though. That just means they don't know.
Yeah.
That's
I love it.
I don't want to be an asshole with you, man.
Hey, prove that I'm not on the space station. Prove that I'm not on the space station. Can you? Okay. Can you prove it? Right?
Well, you want me to bring my girlfriend, which is a graphical designer?
Yeah.
She's gonna have so much fun with that.
So let me ask you a question. So we're on this spinning ball.
Right.
So you asked me, what do I know? How have I researched? Let me ask you a question. And by the way, when I was asked these questions originally, I had no idea. So if you get them all wrong, you're exactly where I was. How fast is the Earth spinning in the helio-nonsensical model?
Actually, I forget. Yeah, I forget. But I heard actually over the past 10 years, it's supposed to have been spinning faster nowadays.
Yeah, like a fraction of a millimeter faster in a year. It's the dumbest crap ever. That just because they're saying that, anything that NASA says, the liars that show you these fake planets, anything they say is not real. Everything. You can discount all of it. Okay. So Joey, how fast is the Earth spinning? Do you know?
Fuck! You want me to check it out?
No, don't check it out. I know it's spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, and it's spinning slower near the North Pole, right?
Yeah.
On the ball, because if you're a mile from the North Pole, it's going to take you 24 hours to go around the North Pole. You've gone 3.14 miles, right? Mm-hmm. If you're on the equator, it's 24,000 miles around the equator. It's going to take you 1 day, so you're going at about 1,000 miles an hour to make it around. All right. So it's spinning at different speeds depending on where you are. Right. Then while that's happening, it's orbiting the sun. Okay. And if this was the sun, it's going faster and slower, right? And it takes 365 days to go all the way around. It's traveling at about 66,600 miles per hour. That's a ridiculous speed. While that's going on, the sun is hurtling through space.
Right.
At over 500,000 miles per hour. And all of the planets, like if this is the sun and it's flying through space, all of the planets are staying on this plane right here and keeping up with the sun. So they're corkscrewing through space like crazy. Yeah. While that's going on, the entire galaxy is moving sideways at over 1 million miles per hour.
Yeah.
All of those motions are happening, and we don't feel anything. And as a matter of fact, forget about feeling, because people say, well, it's so big, you don't notice it. Are you guys familiar with the Georgia Guidestones?
No.
So the Georgia Guidestones are basically where the New World Order has written their 10 Commandments. But besides that, it's like a Stonehenge type monument. And there's this little hole.
We're definitely getting there.
Yeah, there's a little hole drilled through like a thickness of a straw that goes all the way through this rock, 5 feet or 10 feet, whatever it is. And if you put your eye up to it at nighttime and look through it, the North Star is right in the middle. It's lined up right with it. This thing has been up for over 40 years. And the North Star hasn't moved. How are we twirling, whirling, and swirling, traveling billions and billions and billions of miles in 4 different directions at once, but the North Star stays perfectly lined up with there? And if you do a time lapse, you see all the other stars that are spinning around it. That proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that the stars, the lights in the sky that we see, are spinning around a point of axis, which is Polaris.
But okay. So now let's say if you think of it in a globe scenario, like and there's a solar system, and then everything's a vacuum. Just because it's a vacuum, possibly is why the speeds are like the way they are, type thing. Because like we can't really understand like how fast, like pretty much like a comet goes through. Like we can't really. It seems like a glimpse in the sky, but it's like
what comets? What is a comet? Have you ever seen a comet?
Yeah, I mean,
no, you haven't. If you saw Halley's Comet or Hale-Bopp, it's just a light in the sky. The only thing that we can accurately say about anything we see in the sky other than an aircraft is it's a light. We don't know how big it is, how far it is. NASA says Venus is the same size as Earth. Yeah. I say Venus is the size of a basketball. Prove me wrong. You can't.
But like, where are the lights coming from in the night sky then? Like, what's the?
Yeah, so that's a bigger question. So what are those lights, right? We live in this realm, and the lights in the sky, in my opinion, not speaking for any other flat earthers, those lights are souls in the heavens above. Okay. And the wandering stars, also known as planets, are I don't want to say gods, but they're all named after gods for some reason.
Yeah, there's constellations.
Roman gods.
Yeah. So I think that this is a place where souls come and go. We're having this soul experience here on Earth, and we're having we're expanding consciousness of God, because think of a soul as like a little piece of God, and that's within us. And we're having this experience here. And the people that hijacked this world in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they hate God. They don't want you to know that there's God. So they're making you think you live in this heliocentric soul lure system. They're literally trying to steal your soul. The only job you have here on Earth is to maintain control of your soul. And the way you do that is you obey universal or God's law, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Don't kill anybody. Don't steal from anybody. Help your neighbor. Be a good person. That's it.
So what do you think the end goal of, like, obviously we're going to go jump back and forth, but like, let's say the New World or the Illuminati, are they trying to like break? Because I hear this a lot. I heard this a couple times, but I know there's different lines of thinking in the flat earther thing. So are you saying that they're trying to break the dome?
Well, Hillary Clinton when she lost the presidential election, she's like, that high, hard glass ceiling, we put cracks in it and hopefully we'll break through soon. And then there's so much predictive programming, in cartoons and movies of the dome above, and them trying to break it. They're trying to break God's creation. I'm not a Bible guy. My co-host
Hillary was talking about women and
women. Yeah.
Well, that's how they do it. They always have it as a metaphor. You can always make up an excuse, but the stuff that they say. Obama mentioned flat Earth a half a dozen times. Go ahead, Joey.
That wrestling group called NW, where they were talking about the conspiracy theories, or they were just talking about their wrestling team?
I don't know. I don't know the story.
No. So it would be like similar. Pretty much what he's saying is like anytime you see something like New World Order, so it'd be like conspiracy theory. So you see New World Order, or if you see the Simpsons and they put like, let's say 9/11 before 9/11 happens, you're saying like they're like giving you symbols of what's to happen later on, type thing.
So this is my belief. My belief is we have free will. They're not allowed to break it. So they have to tell us what they're doing. They're not allowed to put a bear trap in the woods, buried under leaves where you can't see it. They have to put a sign that says because there's a bear trap. So they always tell us what they're doing. And if we're too stupid to say no, then we're tacitly saying yes.
Okay. But and here's another thing because I seen like I saw like, okay, let's say it was the dome, and then there's like obviously there's a dragon. So are you saying like the dragon would be like let's say the devil type thing? So is the flat earther thing like, are they trying to break the dome? Are they trying to break the dome so the dragon comes in type thing?
I don't know. That's a great question. I don't know the dragon story, but
that's one of the flat earther things I was seeing. I was like, okay.
Well, I've never heard of that. So there's a lot of disinformation out there. If you try to look for flat earth information now on YouTube, there's so many turds in the punch bowl, you won't find any fruit at all because they've buried it. They made it like, if you search for A Stranger's Guide to Flat Earth 21 Questions, which is the name of a specific video that has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views, it won't come up as the first hit. Okay. It'll be pages buried, and you'll get all sorts of garbage ahead of it because they don't want you seeing the truth, because this is all about control. Look what's going on in the world right now. It's insanity. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
okay.
well,
So there's insanity going on. How are people falling for this nonsense? And the answer is because they're spinning out of control in space. They're lost in space. Right? They have no idea who they are, where they are, what they are. And the analogy I like to use, you guys familiar with the documentary with Keanu Reeves called The Matrix?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you call it a documentary? Or?
I call it a documentary. It's kind of
So basically you're thinking that the world is crazy.
I'm kind of just making a point. I'm making a point. So at the beginning, Neo is depressed. He's not connected with his soul. His soul knows the truth of the world, but his mind is trapped in the Matrix. He's lost. He's controlled. He doesn't know who he is, where he is, what he is. And by the end of the movie, Neo figures out who he is, where he is, what he is, and the power of his own mind. They don't want us to know that we are the many, they are the few. They have no authority over us, but we give it to them because we're all afraid. We're all afraid. We work until May for free, okay? Yeah. We give it all to them. And then the rest we pay in all crazy taxes and stuff, and people have no idea what's going on. And they're spending it on things like NASA, right? NASA is just here to deceive. NASA means deceive in Hebrew, okay?
Does it?
It does. It does. There's people that question that, whatever. I don't even like using that one. But NASA stands for not a space agency, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nowadays Elon Musk is and like the Amazon, like they're pretty much dealing with that. So.
Well, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, the whole thing. If you go to my YouTube channel, DITRH, there's plenty of videos there. I'm going to show you guys. I made an app that'll show you how to find out about flat Earth and how it shows you how it works, and it feeds you all the videos that you need. And I have a challenge for people. You guys know what Bitcoin is, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm offering a Bitcoin that anyone could take the Flat Earth app challenge, which is every day watch the one video a day that shows up as the featured video. Watch a video for 2 weeks, and then at the end of that, if you can come up with one flat Earth proof, I give you a Bitcoin.
One round Earth proof.
One round. Thank you. I almost lost a freaking Bitcoin. Thank you, Victoria, because I can give you a freaking flat Earth proof right now. So we were about to go into a proof. So. If the Earth is 24,901 miles around, like they tell us, there's a certain amount of curvature. And that curvature formula, without getting into the formula, says that if you're standing at the water's edge, 6 foot tall guy standing at water's edge on flat water, that the horizon should be 3 miles away. And then all the water should drop below a physical curve because it drops 6 feet after 3 miles. And then over that, it gets exponentially steeper because it's going over a curve. So your tangent line, it gets steeper as it goes forward. So at 9.4 miles, this camera is 1 foot off the ground. So the horizon should only be 1.2 miles away. Not only can we see the water at this known distance, we can see water for tens of miles beyond it. We can see the surface of the water where there should be hundreds of feet of curvature. Okay. And that's impossible on a globe. And we have Navy ship captains that say they can take a pinpoint, a pencil thin laser beam and target another ship over 100 miles away. At 100 miles, there should be a 6,600 foot wall of water in between them. But they can see it and light it up. Submarines down near the bottom can shoot sonar out and see another submarine near the bottom over 100 miles away. There should be a hump of dirt over a mile high in between them that should block that sonar. But it doesn't happen. There's no curvature, no ball.
Okay.
But wait, what about the dome theory? The dome has a curvature, no?
Well, so the dome, there's a dome over us, but again, we can't
it's
go up
over
there.
us.
It's over us. Yeah, the flat Earth has a dome over us, whether it's energetic, whether it's frozen gases, whether it's glass. I don't know. It's like the True Man show. You familiar with the True Man show?
Yeah.
Right? The True Man show. Go watch that movie again. Right?
No,
it's making a mockery of where we gives you nightmares.
But okay.
Lots of the optics we see in the sky
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Suggest there's a dome, right? If if you see these sundogs and these different things that we see in the sky from different latitudes at different times of the year, here's a dome with a light over it. We see this, but it kind of looks like some of the stuff we're seeing in the sky. Right.
Yeah.
So the optics in the sky are no way to prove the Earth is flat. You look up at the lights in your ceiling right now, study them carefully, and tell me what shape the floor of your room is. Makes no sense, right?
Yeah.
So I don't look up at the sky to figure out the shape of the floor.
So do you think the lights are controlled, or you think they just like what or is it just something we just don't understand and we don't question it?
We don't understand it. We don't question it. People don't question it. Like I have videos showing stars that when you zoom in on them with today's consumer zoom cameras, that they look like geometric, sacred geometry, pulsing energies. They don't look like a burning ball trillions of miles away. None of that makes any sense. Can I do a thought experiment with you guys about how we see stars?
Yeah.
All right. So let me see your faces while I'm doing this, right? So we're told that the Earth, if we looked at the model of the Earth, those big yoga balls, right? And holding a big yoga ball, that's the sun. And how big would the Earth be next to that? Size of a marble, maybe?
Really small, It'd be
it's like the size of a marble, a ping pong ball, maybe.
The sun's a star.
Right. Well, so we're just talking sizes, okay? So you have the giant sun and the small Earth. And now if we were out on an island in the middle of the ocean and we brought the sun just a mile over your head, right? At 12 noon, the edge of the sun was a mile over your head. It would fill the entire sky. Agreed?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Or we'll pretty much be dead, but yeah.
Oh, forget just for modeling purposes, right? We turn the heat down. We turn the heat way down.
Yeah, okay, got it.
So then we move the sun. How far away is the sun? 93 million miles. And the way they came up with that is ridiculous. And if you want to know that, I'll tell you later. But they move it 93 million miles away, and it reduced from the entire sky, due to perspective by moving it away, it reduced to the size of a nickel held at arm's length, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now it reduced. So if I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? A lot smaller, right? It went from the entire sky to a nickel. Now I'm going to double the distance.
Technically, it should be, if you double the distance, it should be smaller, yeah.
Okay. What if I 8 times the distance? Could you see it?
Probably not.
Thank you. That's a rational mind using their common sense and not replacing it with nonsense because they don't think they have a degree.
Yeah.
But
hold on.
Yeah,
hold on.
All right.
So we moved it 8 times away, 8 times farther away. We all agree that you couldn't see it. Remember that distance, 8 times away. Okay. Right. So in our galaxy, there's 100 billion stars, Carl Sagan tells us. Okay.
Right.
And they're all different sizes. Some of them are the same size as our sun. Some of them are smaller. Some of them are bigger. Right. But we can see them with our naked eye. So the closest one, forget the other ones that are magnitudes farther. The closest one to us is Alpha Centauri. Yeah. And it's 40,000 times farther than that sun that we just moved 8 times the distance that we couldn't see. It's 40,000 times farther.
Yeah.
How could you see that? You can't. Scientifically, provably, you can't see it because its angular size would be so small. The inverse square law of light it couldn't be that bright. You couldn't see it. It's all lies. All of it.
So do you believe? Okay, like what from what I'm hearing, if let's say you see a star from there, you're not really seeing the star. You're seeing since it's so far away, you're seeing like a
you
pass.
You should be able to see it. That's his theory. Yeah.
That's his theory.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear the what you said, but we call it. What were you saying?
I said Victoria's getting it. I can look at the look on her face. I planted the seed.
This is really fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
She's freaking out. I'm just like so. Like a star is pretty much like you're not really seeing the light of the star. You're seeing like a memory of since it's so like since you're talking about like light years and like the distance. You're not really seeing. You're almost seeing like a memory of a star. That's what's pretty much what I'm getting.
No. That's what you've been programmed to believe.
So that's what you're saying. Okay,
are close and small. Here's the thing: we send up balloons to 100,000 feet, and some guy sent up a balloon in Arizona in the desert. Super clear day, had cameras looking up and we could see the stars before it even took off. All right. Yeah. And so when it goes up, you think when it gets to 10,000, 20,000 feet, the stars are just going to get brighter and brighter because we're getting above any of the thick atmosphere. But by the time it got up to like 50 or 80,000 feet, all of the stars disappeared.
What?
Yeah. Don't ask me why or how. They all disappeared. So,
pollution? No, I don't know.
No.
Technically, it shouldn't be light pollution.
I don't think that the stars that we see are that far away, and I think that they're not.
Check it from a camera, though.
We had high definition cameras on there.
Yeah. For the moon landing, I've heard a counter arguments to the fact that we don't see stars because it's on nighttime or daytime. So since they pick up the light. They don't see the star, but maybe you have a counter argument for that.
So some astronauts say they do see stars. Some say they don't see stars. Some say it's the aperture. But here's an experiment that you can do on a clear night. Go outside under a street light, which would be the worst place to go look at stars, right?
Yeah.
Hold on. Go under a street light with your shitty iPhone. Look up at the stars, and you'll be able to see stars in your iPhone underneath the street light. Okay? So don't tell me aperture.
I don't know.
We don't see shit. Honestly, like even in a clear night, we see the moon and that's it.
Yeah, and I know it's like a weird phenomenon with like a lunar eclipse because like I think like depending on like what cameras, it won't pick up the moon at all type thing.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. Like I wouldn't know how to explain this. Like I wouldn't know if like going like in a city under a city light would explain why you couldn't see or see or not.
If you did it underneath a light, that would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
If you did it out in the middle of nowhere, you get tons of pictures. But even under a light, you can see stars.
Right.
So the whole thing of them saying, well, the aperture, it's too bright. No, nonsense. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. And anybody that just makes excuse for NASA is just a NASA apologist.
Yeah.
But
I don't care that much about NASA, but it's not because they made excuse for NASA. It's because they've learned it that way. So, and they've, it's not. You do realize that people that don't agree with you are not like all NASA apologists or liars or
but there's people that don't agree with me. It's just anyone that looks at the information I present, then they can see, unless they're unwilling to see, and they just make excuses.
Yeah. I'm just I won't say I would argue. I'm actually trying to like understand the point. That's what I'm
get it. And by the way, Paul has a massive advantage over flat Earth. You can just believe it. Done. I believe the Earth is a ball. Let's go drink some beers. Okay. Well, you want to learn about flat Earth? You got to study it. You got to pay attention. You got to do experiments yourself. You got to not trust other liars and verify the stuff yourself. The stuff I'm telling you can all be verified, but the stuff NASA telling you, none of it can be verified.
So if I were to get like $1,000 like telescope right now, and I look out and if someone told me, okay, this is Mars, this is Venus, would you tell me different or
no? That's Mars and Mars Venus. It's just not a rocky ball. It's a energetic light within our Earth system. I can zoom in, so I'll save you a lot of money. Buy a Nikon P900 camera. They have the P1000, which is even bigger and more zoom, but the P900 is more than sufficient. You get it for probably $300, and those optics have outgrown their lies. We could zoom in and see details on the moon. We could see stars pulsing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff that they didn't expect us to have the ability to see. So
yeah, Peter, didn't you hear that he said that was Sol? So basically, like planets are like Sol with a weight problem.
Well, again,
that's
we don't know.
That's true. Well, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know. That's history. That's history.
We don't know about this. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's history. It's not like
actual belief
because it's different lines of thinking. So it's like I'm just trying to understand.
I think the big disadvantage you have over people that believe that the Earth is round is that you don't have any like formulas. You know what I mean? Like there's
What do you mean
people
we don't have any
studying
formulas?
there's people studying in university and coming up with like math textbooks and
So
like
we don't live on a formula. As I showed you with the Aristophanes experiment before, they have a formula to figure out the shape of the sphere based on shadows. Well, I have those same shadows on a flat Earth. You can use that formula and tell me that flat table is a sphere, but it's not. We don't live on a math. Math is not reality. Math is math. Here, I'm gonna here. They. So here's the thing: the Aristophanes experiment. You're assuming the rays are coming in parallel when in fact they're not. The only reason they assume that is because they assume the sun is so far away. So that starts with an assumption. The way they figured out the distance of the sun is one day Venus, which is about the same size as Earth, went across the face, transited the sun, and they had people on the East Coast and the West Coast time it when it started and stopped. It started and stopped at different times. You can do a really intense formula and figure out the sun is 93 million miles away. The problem with that formula is they assumed Venus is the size of Earth. I told you Venus is the size of a basketball. Well, that would have changed everything. So, that's like me saying. So that's like me saying you got $1 million in the bank. I'm going to double it every day for 3 days. So tomorrow, how much money would you have?
What? I have how many to start
with? You have $1 million in the bank. $1 million in the bank, and I'm going to double it. So tomorrow, how much money do you have?
2 million.
2 million, and then the next day.
Yeah, it's exponential. Yeah.
No, how much would you have on day 2?
Yeah. So if you double it,
4 million,
4 million,
and the next day you'd have 8 million. So the formula is days times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. Yeah. So there, I just made a formula. That means you have $8 million in the bank, right?
Yeah, but with the inflation and everything else, it's like kind of like fucks it up.
All right. So my point is.
Well, I understand your point. I understand your point. Like it should.
Yeah. My point is. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you what the optics of the P900 can do for seeing stars. So here is pop that on the screen.
Sure, coming up. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So this is the star Arcturus. Does that look like a burning ball of hydrogen millions and millions of miles away?
Wait, how was that footage taken?
Liquid.
This is taken with a P900 camera.
No way.
Zoom. Absolutely, you can do it yourself.
I'll do it. I'll definitely.
You can do it yourself. So here is here's a whole bunch of stars.
DMT trip is like.
Exactly.
Kind of look liquid though.
This is the star. I think this is Capella. Look at this one. Totally different. Okay. Now, it could be a little out of focus. Doesn't matter. This is what we're seeing.
A little.
It doesn't matter. This is not a burning ball of hydrogen billions of miles away. But when you look at this with your naked eye, it looks like just a little tiny light in the sky. But when you zoom in on it, this is what you see. Okay.
Right.
So here's a whole bunch of stuff.
But I mean, there's different type of lenses and stuff too, man. Like it makes a difference.
Right.
You think it's the lens?
Yeah.
Because you could look with a telescope, you could look with a super zoom camera. This is
maybe he's looking with the thing with the.
Or maybe his camera's like musty or something. Like I don't know what's going on.
There's all sorts of videos, all sorts of things, and you just zoom in and look. They just get you not to look. I had access to an observatory in college for all 4 years. I took 4 years of astronomy, which is pseudoscience, and the one thing they told us is never pointed at the moon. Right? Never pointed at the moon. Why? That's like the one thing we want to look at, and that's all we did is pointed at the moon. We'd be up there all night looking at the moon. We were looking for the moon lander and stuff. Never found it. Yeah. But the stuff that you see is insane. These are stars. This is what stars really look like.
That looks like the bottom of a pool.
Yeah, it does look like they're underwater. Space. Could be water. Look up the lunar wave. There's this wave that goes in front of the moon, and now it's been seen going beyond other stars. Yeah. So
cool. I mean, but at that time, at the same time, it's like its own, like you said, its own speculation. It's almost like the God question: like, is God real or God not? Obviously, I believe in God, but to prove.
Well, there's a verse in the Bible that says, once you see my creation, you no longer have any excuse to deny my existence. This is the main reason, in my opinion, that they have the heliocentric model, because they're trying to steal your soul, and they don't want you in a position where you can't deny God. And once you understand that the world is not a random accident and that you didn't come from a monkey, then you realize that we came from intelligent design. Intelligent design means creator. And then once you wake up,
why didn't I come from a monkey? That has nothing to do with
because your ancestors were humans. Monkeys' ancestors were monkeys. Turtles' ancestors were turtles.
Yeah, but we have a common ancestor with
we don't. There's never anyone has never seen any transition from one species to another. Now you can mate a dog with a wolf and get something, or a lion with a tiger. Okay, but that's not anything.
You want me to chime in? So basically, that's here, Victoria, you cry fault. Like, you have been listening all those long, and now that's all you're like, no, I don't believe that part.
Well, because the monkeys, they have like fingerprints, and like they're very similar. They're too similar to us.
Yeah, God wants to test us if you want to fuck him.
For
you know what,
an asshole, Joey.
No, right?
Yeah, we're not monkeys. Why are monkeys still here? Why are monkeys still here? How come they haven't become humans?
They're different. We have a common ancestor, but they're a different animal now.
It's all pseudoscience. You got to look into it a little deeper. We don't have time to go into it, but it's all pseudoscience.
Well, definitely, 100%. We have to do a part 2 because, like, I want to talk about conspiracy theories with you 100%. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
All right.
Yeah, but wait, if you want to do it again, we have to do it on Zoom. All right?
No problem. No problem.
We would be done. You guys would be 100% flat earthers if we were on Zoom right now. And not that I like Zoom. Zoom is the belly of the beast, but man, they do a good job.
Okay. I like that. I like that promotion. I like it. That's what it is, David. Oh shit, man. So yeah. So we were talking about the disproving of the monkey, just pretty much disproving of evolution. That's what you're pretty much.
Evolution is. I used to believe it all. I used to believe nothing exploded. We became.
Yeah, I believe in adaptation more than.
Yeah.
Let's go back to flat Earth for a second and talk about plane routes.
Right.
Okay. So check this out. If you want to go from Santiago, Chile, to Australia, well, on a ball, they're really close on the bottom. You can just cut across Antarctica or just go around Antarctica, and it's short. It's about 1/3 of the distance of going all the way up here, all the way across, and all the way down. And check this out. If you want to go to Western Australia from Santiago, it goes all the way up here. It goes all the way across the ocean to Europe and Dubai, and then it goes down, right? Why would it go all the way like this when it could just go across the bottom?
But apparently, let's say, when I went to Japan, they kind of went to through Alaska, then
so let me show you that. Ready?
Okay,
this is gonna blow your mind, right? First, let's look at going to Western Australia on a flat Earth map. Right? It goes all the way up across the United States, across the ocean, Europe, Dubai, to Western Australia. It's a straight line. All FAA manuals say treat the Earth as a flat, non-rotating plane. Do you know why it says that?
Why?
Because it is a flat, non-rotating plane.
I knew it was going there. I thought.
So look, I can't. Can you make my screen bigger? Can you make me present? Can you make me present?
Yeah, make his box there.
Just make my box present for a second.
Could you, Joey?
Well, if you can't, it's all right. It's all right. Check it out.
No, you could.
Here's the United States. Here's the United States right here.
Yeah.
Here's Japan over here. Okay?
No. Make his box bigger.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah. No. He could do it. Yeah.
Now you made yours bigger.
Yeah, that's always like that. Sorry for that, man.
It's all right. It's all right. Listen.
Okay.
I can just point. You guys can see.
Yeah.
So here's the United States, and you flew north right over Alaska straight to Japan. It's right here. It's a straight line, right? And it's always a straight line. All of these flight routes are a straight line. There's a book called 16 Emergency Landings That Prove Flat Earth. And it shows you these emergency landings. Someone had a baby, heart attack, whatever. And they had to divert to an airport. And they went thousands of miles out of the way when they could have just gone over here. But it's not. That's because that's not where they are in reality. That's not where they are. So.
Okay.
So you were asking. You asked about Japan. So I just explained that.
Yeah. Okay. No, because here's the thing. according to their I don't know if it's in the manual, but they don't want to fly through the ocean just in case. Let's say they ran out of gas.
Yeah,
there's
nonsense.
nowhere. There's no
I'm with you. But when you want to go from Santiago to Australia, there's Easter Island out there. There's a whole bunch of places that they could land. And this trip from here to here is a greater strip over ocean than staying down there. So that's all nonsense. Again,
maybe it's because
nonsense.
they want to pick up more people.
No, but when the plane
Maybe
is
I'm
full,
dumb.
when there's a full plane, when you have an airplane that's booked solid that wants to go to Australia, why would you need to go up here to pick up more people?
That's how plane works. Like sometimes they have to go to some places, so they drop them there and pick more people.
Hold on a second. You have a plane that holds 300 people. Yeah. All of them want to go to Australia. They're all at Santiago. Why would you go up here? Why would you go up here?
So shadow clocks and sundials. Oh, okay, never mind. All
right, honestly, I'll give them a phone call to just see what.
Let me show you guys my app and let me show you how some things work.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. No worries. I'm down, man.
I'm going to show you how seasons work, and I'm going to show you how to figure out flat Earth for yourself. Because if you look in the punch bowl filled with turds, you're not going to find anything. So, share screen. Here we go. So present that as on the screen.
There you go. All right.
So the sky is the clock, right? The sun is the hour hand. If I speed it up, the sun goes around once every 24 hours. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. And as you can see, it's gaining a little distance on the moon, right? So the sun will lap the moon once every 28 days. Right? So you got the moon phases and cycles. The moon phases and cycles in its position keep track of the weeks and the months. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days, right? And as the sun will catch up to the moon will be a new moon, and then it resets the cycle again. There used to be 13 months of 28 days, but they hijacked our calendar. They also hijacked our clocks. They gave us the sky clock, but they said, hey, make it go around twice a day, so they never figure it out. All right? So here we go. I'll turn on the stars. And the stars, the zodiac. Oh, that's not the stars. This is the stars. So the zodiac goes slightly faster than the sun. It'll only lap the sun once a year. So right now, the sun is moving into Pisces because Pisces is catching up to the sun. It'll stay in Pisces for a month, and then it'll go into the next one. And then after a year, it reset back to Pisces right where we are today, a year from now. So that's,
folks, you understand? Astronomy is bullshit, but astrology on the other hand, perfect science.
I'll give. Okay, so Trillion, thanks for the sub. Thanks for everybody for watching. Gabriel Bessie, he's a comedian, great guy, right?
Yeah. He's a comedian. He's just joking.
So here's how you guys didn't ask about circumnavigation, but I'm going to show you. The north is at the center. All compasses will point to the center. So if you're on the lake, you're looking down at the flat Earth lake. You put a compass down, the needle's going to point to the center. So if you wanted to travel east from the United States, you have to keep turning to the left because your compass needs to point there. So east and west are circles. And that's the same on a globe and a flat Earth.
What?
Okay. East and west are circles. So you guys can't see my mouse now.
So there's no so you just believe in just south. So north.
It's not a belief system, and you could test this yourself. And it's the same on the globe, except in the southern hemisphere, it actually proves the Earth is flat. But I'm not going to get into that yet. Okay. Put a magnet down on a table. And draw a circle and draw the continents, and so you got your flat Earth map. Put a magnet in the center. Put a compass down, a couple inches from that magnet, and the needle will point right to the magnet. And then so east and west are 90 degrees to that hand. So push the compass and make sure that you head east. Okay. And what you'll notice is that you have to keep turning, because if you go straight, you're heading south. Okay. You have to keep turning to the left when you're going east. You have to keep turning to the right when you're going west. And that way you can keep going. You think you're going in a straight line, but you're adjusting to the compass. And before you know it, you're in California, you're back in New York. You think you went around a ball, but you just went around the lake. Okay. Here's something that you cannot do on a flat Earth and would absolutely prove the globe. And that is if, where did that go? It goes, compass. There we go. So if you can't go from Santiago down near the bottom there and go over Antarctica and pop up over in Australia. And guess what? Nobody's ever done it. When we get out of the app, I'm going to show you what they do. So that's that on the app. And so every day the bottom left, there's a new video every day. I do longer ones on the weekend, shorter ones during the week. And this is where the Bitcoin challenge comes in. Watch that video every day for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then if you have a flat earth proof, you can send it to me. I mean, a globe proof. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then you can claim your Bitcoin. But before you do that, you have to hit the question mark. And the question mark will bring up the top 21 questions. Hey, what about eclipses, or why the lie, which we went over, or what about seasons, right? And or how about we can see too far? If I click like we can see too far, up come a whole bunch of videos that YouTube won't serve you because there's too many turds in the punch bowl. These are the fruit. This is what will show you how you can go prove the Earth is flat yourself with your new P900 camera from Nikon, right?
Can never trust those big tech guys, eh?
Actually, that's one thing. Okay, so let's say like the new moon, like the moon phenomenon, like how it turns like just the lunar. Like, how would you explain that under this?
Well, let me get out of the app. I'll show you that. And hold that question just for a second.
Yeah,
so soul, but it's Piggy Small actually.
Well, if I hit there's also tons of other information in here. Mud floods. I don't know if you guys are into that.
Yeah.
We have a curve calculator on the bottom left, second from the left. You can. Hey, you're at the beach. You got your P900. You see a buoy. You look on a map. You figure out how far that is, and then you zoom in on it, and you realize, hey, that buoy should be under 20 feet of curvature, but I can see it. Therefore, you just prove the Earth is flat while sitting on the beach having a good time. Also, hey, just a new feature that is not on the app yet, but you guys will be able to see it soon, is that colorful wheel. That's photos, and up come all sorts of photos that prove the Earth is what it is. Like, you guys, if you believe in the moon landing, you can just go to, let's say we go to this lunar rover picture, and I'll zoom in. Does this look like a airtight ship that 2 men in diapers could be in, or does it look like it's made from paper mache, curtain rods, duct tape, and tinfoil? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Like it, but is it though?
Yeah. So again, anybody that thinks that we went to the moon has just never looked into it. That's coming soon for all of you that have the app and want to know what's going on. So that's it. It does a whole bunch of other things, but I'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll put the link to it.
What the fuck happened?
Oh no, he probably turned it off.
He turned it off. Just come back.
Yeah. Okay. So David, please come back. So, what do you guys think about it? Are you convinced that the Earth is flat?
It's not really like a vision. I just want to understand the thinking of it.
Same thing.
I'm just like I'm a very it's interesting. I don't know. It's interesting that he full-heartedly believes it. Like it's like
for sure. You can see really, really believe it,
and which I like.
That's the first time I ever spoke to somebody that actually believed really hard that the Earth is flat. That's really interesting. That's first time.
Oh, Dave's back.
Oh,
Dave's back.
I love disconnecting myself once per StreamYard. Okay?
that really sounded like a mic drop move.
Oh yeah.
Hey, thank you. Hey, Joey, I appreciate that. That was a good mic drop. I should try that sometime. I actually rage quit a show with a bunch of Globers the other day. It was unbelievable. Yeah. Guys were so dumb. It was unbelievable. And then we did a little research on one of the guys. The guy that was so dumb, he's a rocket engineer for Jeff Bezos, right? So he's either just that dumb or a shill. I don't know. I think he's just that dumb.
Shit.
But
that's the first time for me I hear a rocket scientist being called a dummy. That I love it.
That's a good point.
I'll stop using that analogy now.
Yeah.
Well, because even if you're a scientist, you have to believe that science can be disproven.
Right.
So you can't be close-minded.
So check this out. This is the Guinness Book of World Record for southern circumnavigation. Here's the North Pole. They came all the way down here. Then they went out here to these islands over here. They went to Santiago. Then they went to Antarctica. And then instead of continuing across Antarctica, they turned around, came back, went up through Brazil, up here, and back around. They got the world record for southern circumnavigation, right? That is ridiculous. Because this is what it looks like on a flat Earth map, okay? Same thing on a flat Earth map. That's not southern circumnavigation. Southern circumnavigation would be going here and popping up out here. Okay,
Yeah.
never happened. You can go east. I can't. It's backwards for me. You can go this way, and that's circumnavigation. You can go this way, right? East or west is circumnavigation. You can even go from South America north, 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 south, south, south. As soon as you, without changing direction, you're now going south because you passed the North Pole.
Okay.
If you had a compass,
every point
as soon as you
is
pass the
south
North Pole,
pole.
that compass is going to flip around. Boom. But you can't go south, south, south and come back. You can't go south, 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 south. You're just going to keep going. And who knows what's out there? We don't know because it's off limits.
Wait, can I say one thing? Can I say
you
something
can.
before you go, Joey? The was it Gov Clips with the total bukkake? I'm coining that term. I love that term. That's the beautiful
Total bukkake. That sounds really bad.
Don't search it on Google because
I know what total bukkake is. Trust me.
Yeah, that's coin that term.
I used to listen to Howard Stern. Come on.
So we're the same, actually. Okay.
Sorry, Joey. What were you saying?
Oh, I was about to ask him, like, if gravity's in a thing, why shit fall on the ground?
Great question. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I want to hear that.
So mass attracting mass has never been proven. There was one experiment that was done years ago with these giant balls hanging in a barn called the Cavendish experiment, and it's completely debunked. There's so many flaws with it. It's unbelievable, and no university has ever been able to reproduce it. So it doesn't exist. And the other problem with gravity is it's only a theory. Neil deGrasse Tyson, the high priest of scientism,
high priest.
Yeah,
the high priest of science. Yeah.
It's a religion. All the stuff he preaches is a religion. He says, I don't know what gravity is. We don't know what it is. And they have to make up dark matter and dark energy to fill in the rest.
Right.
The story is space is 96% dark matter and dark energy because it has to be there or gravity doesn't work. That's dumb. That's just ridiculous. That's pseudoscience.
Really? That was the same?
Yeah, that's what they say. But here's the thing: it still doesn't work.
I know that, and they say that also that they don't say they know what it is.
I'm going to tell you how it doesn't work.
A couple of things. It's just a placeholder.
Joey, I'm going to tell you how it doesn't work, and then I'm going to tell you what we think gravity is and how it can be tested, measured, and my mind scientifically proven. So there's a thing called the three-body problem. You can take the world's best supercomputer, fastest, best computer, and you can make a model. And you say, all right, I got a sun. It's this big. It's got this much gravity. And then I got a little planet. It's got this much gravity. And you set them in orbit, and it works beautifully. You can predict where that sun's going to be in 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years, 5,000 years. It works perfectly like a clock. Then you add into the supercomputer one more body, either a moon going around the Earth or another planet going around the sun, and the entire system falls apart, goes into random mode, and never repeats. However, all of the bodies in our solar system all repeat year after year after year, right? We know when the planets are going to line up. We know where they're going to be. All of the eclipses repeat every 18 years. Everything repeats like a precision clock in the sky. Right? Everything repeats, right? And they can't even get a supercomputer to model 3 bodies. We have like 80 in our solar system. It's ridiculous. None of that alignment we had on December 21st, that should have perturbed everything. Those planets should have pulled on our moon. The sun should pull on our moon. None of it works. So what is gravity? The Earth has a measurable, testable, scientifically provable negative electric field. It's a dielectric electric plane. You don't have to know what that is. The Earth has a negative charge to it, a weak negative charge.
Right.
That negative charge attracts everything to it. Very weak. Just like they say gravity is a weak force, it attracts things to it. So that establishes a down. Down for me is here. Up for me is here. Down for Australia is not up. Down for Australia, which is over there, down is down. Down is down here. Down is down here. Down is down for you guys. Up is up for you guys. Forward, backwards, left, and right are all relative to whatever direction you're facing, but down is down. So now everything knows which way down is because of that weak field. And then buoyancy and density sort everything else out. If I had a handful of ping pong balls and a handful of rocks, I held them in the air above a pool and I dropped them, they're both going to fall through the air because they're more dense than the air. They're being attracted to the earth. The ping pong balls are going to sit on the top of the water. The rocks are going to go to the bottom because they're less dense. The rocks are more dense, and everything sorts out from buoyancy and density. That's it. It's that simple. One last thing. You ever see those levitating tinfoil triangles? Right? They get a little triangle of tinfoil and they electrify it with a negative charge. And when that negative charge is stronger than the Earth's negative charge, it goes up in the air.
Yeah, a little bit.
It goes up in the air. We take a Van de Graaff generator. One of our guys who was in chat a little while ago, he took a metal plate, and he charged it with a negative charge, and it attracted things, not just metal, wood, hair, pieces of paper. They would go up and away. So that's it. I mean, you can prove that he's not defying gravity. He's defying the negative charge of the Earth. That's it. Pretty cool.
That's interesting. Yeah. No. So you're just replacing gravity, just all of that electric charge. Like there's no gravity technically.
Right. Yeah. Gravity is a myth. Gravity is a theory. Gravity is
basically
nonsense.
There's somebody that put the Earth on his hair like a balloon, and then it's all electricity.
That's static electricity, right? The only true forces in this world are electricity and magnetism, and they're brother and sister. They go together. The Earth is a giant battery. There's a channel called LC King, right? It literally makes your brain hurt. But basically, he's showing that the world is a giant battery. The sun and the moon are the anode and cathode of the system. They're circling around. They're charging the Earth, and the salt water has the current, and the land is the salt bridge of the battery, and that we live in a free energy system. They don't want us to know that. This is about control. Why does it matter? Because if they didn't lie to us, we would know that we have free energy, so we wouldn't have to pay for electricity. We wouldn't need it. It's all free for everybody. They control food. They control our minds. They control Google. So much that we become these powerless, willing servants, and we just give everything away. And we work for ourselves, but we give everything to them. Everything you guys have made this year so far is not yours. It's good. The government's. You're working for the government so far. Everything.
Pretty much.
Well, we're making podcasts, so.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's good. This is fighting the government. Excellent, Victoria. Excellent.
Yeah, we're fighting that man with one dick jokes at the time. No, basically.
They're all those dick jokes now.
Okay, so.
And Bukaki's
joke, that too. Rape jokes and everything. But if the Earth is like a big battery, how do I channel the energy? Because I'm guessing I cannot just plug my fucking phone to the ground and hope for it to recharge. So how do I channel it? How do I use that energy?
I don't have the technology for it, but it exists. It's out there. I mean, think about solar panels. Solar panels. Scientists don't even know how they work.
They don't. But they build it though.
No, I don't know where the technology came from. It came from it could have come from the civilization that was here before us in Tesla times. So
wait.
Hold on, real quick.
Okay.
So solar panels, they have this whole theory about photon hitting a boron molecule, all this nonsense. The truth is they can't see it because the sun is electric. It's sending electricity, and the solar panel is just grabbing that electricity and flowing it into a current, channeling it into a current. So that's it. Yeah. It's electricity. They don't understand. They think that the sun is a burning ball 93 million miles away, and we're harnessing photons. Nonsense.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot what the first question.
If you put a plant in front of a fireplace and a plant in front of a fluorescent light, the plant in front of the fireplace is going to shrivel up and die, and the plant in front of the fluorescent light is going to grow. It's the same thing. We have electricity coming from the sun.
Gates here has a little hypothesis for you. He said that it came from photosynthesis. We imitated the nature plants, basically. So that's what he said. But I don't know. I never
photosynthesis is a real thing. We are light beings. We are hue is light. Humans. Right? When you eat food, you're eating the light that food has. Did we lose her?
Did we lose her?
No,
maybe his internet crapped because that happens.
Oh, she was frozen. She was. I was wondering why she was holding her mouth. I thought she was in awe. So she was just frozen. Bummer.
Yeah, she was really impressed, and then she
So we are light. We are light beings. The energy. Right? Yeah. When you eat food, like when you eat a Oreo. There's no light in that. It's doing nothing for your body. It's just filling your stomach. But when you eat, like greens and vegetables and stuff, or that's a living food, then you're absorbing that light. You're taking that light energy. We are light. And we are humans.
It was energy. I put it to energy. I believe that.
It's basically like the Mortal Kombat bad guy eating the souls of people. That's basically it.
Well, I mean, that was a little bit extreme, and it was a fatality. So
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I like to have that power. I work in that park, and then there's a tree. I'm angry. There comes.
Technically, he's a businessman. He's just eating souls from his employees.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, there
Who we talking about? Bill Gates?
That's awesome.
Hey, I have a new theory to throw out there. It's probably not even that new.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
You know how everyone
Go for it,
wonders
go for it.
who the Antichrist is? Who
Okay.
the devil
Yeah,
is?
everyone always. Yeah, they always wonder.
You know who it is.
It's Bill Gates. I'm
You
pretty
I
think
sure.
want his
it's-
autograph now. He's
What?
my best guy on the planet. I want that autograph.
On the
Me and
plane.
him.
So you think? Well,
I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, I was about to say about the health foundation stuff like that, but yeah, definitely we have to have you back because like I'm always into like I'm interested in like multiple conspiracies and multiple backgrounds. So it's just fun to see someone that's like I'm like okay, because like when I talk with like my other boy Claudio, he'd be like, "What are you talking about?"
So
Yeah.
everybody, listen. Don't believe. Belief is the enemy of knowing, as Crow 777 Radio says. Right? Knowing takes
Alex
time,
Jones.
effort, thought, energy. So don't just believe. Right?
Yeah.
So you need to do the research. If you Google flat Earth, you're going to end up at the Flat Earth Society. If you Google top 10 reasons the Earth is flat, you're going to get top 10 reasons the Earth is a globe, and they're going to say boats over the horizon, sticks and shadows, seasons. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even show you how seasons work on the. Can I show you how seasons work?
Yeah, definitely, man. Oh, there's no time limit, man. You do what you do.
That's the one thing I wanted to see actually.
Yeah. So
Okay.
seasons. So we're told that it's the silly tilt of the Earth, right? We're told that here's the sun. This is the northern hemisphere, and the sun rays are coming in, and when we're tilted away, that the sun rays are spread over a bigger area, and that's why we have our winter, right?
Totally crazy, but
Yeah,
go on.
but
Sure, jokes.
did you know that during our winter in the north, we're 3 million miles closer to the sun than we are during our summer? So it's just the tilt; it's not the distance, right? You have to
right.
You have to believe that. Hold on.
Oh shit, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, all right. I was like, no, don't leave us now, man.
No, I'm all right. So if that was true, every morning at sunrise, it would be Arctic freezing because we're not tilted this much. We're tilted that much. So the sun rays are literally skimming across the Earth. But on June 21st, during our summer solstice, when the sun is, the height of the summer, when the sun shows up on the horizon in the morning, I'm joking.
Oh shit.
That's the
right.
government.
Sorry, I've just been talking a lot. When the sun shows up, as soon as you see the sun on a clear day, you can feel the heat blasting on your face. And within minutes, it's getting really warm, right? But in the winter, on December 21st, in the middle of the height of our winter, at solar noon, when the sun is at the highest point in the sky, you can look at the sun, which is a much more direct angle. We're 3 million miles closer, and you can't even feel the heat on your face.
Right.
You can't even feel the heat.
Okay, now I see your point. Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what share screen. How the seasons work. So share this, please, and
yes, there we
back
go.
up to the app. So you see the outer yellow line that's called the Tropic of Capricorn. The red line in a little deeper is the Tropic of Cancer.
Yeah.
And the inner yellow line is the tropic. No, the red line is the equator. I'm sorry. And the inner yellow line is the Tropic of Cancer. So now the sun migrates in between those two lines every 6 months. So I'm going to jump forward to March, April, May, June. So in June, am I June yet? Yeah, in June, the sun is over the Tropic of Cancer. So all the northern lands are on the inner, in the center of the circle. So the sun is closer and it's higher in the sky. So imagine two airplanes paralleling each other,
right,
at 10,000 feet or whatever. One of them's directly over your head. The other one's 50 miles to the south. Well, when you look out to the other one, it's farther away. It's lower in the sky due to perspective. And that's your winter sun. The airplane over your head is your summer sun. So if I'm going to jump forward 6 months to December 21st. So on December, it's out over the Tropic of Capricorn. And you can see, I sped it up. It's like the height of the summer for Australia. It goes right over Australia. The sun is high in the sky. And for us, we have shorter days because the sun is farther away and lower in the sky.
Right.
And that's how seasons work. It's that simple.
Okay. That's interesting. I never thought about it that way, to be
They
really
never
honest.
teach it. So in the app, if you hit the question mark and you say, what about seasons? In the seasons, there's great videos in here. These videos right here will explain how the seasons work perfectly. And then you realize, wow, seasons make 0 sense on a globe. Absolute 0 sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
there you
interesting.
go.
Yeah, we definitely have to. We have to do a part 2 on this. Definitely with Zoom.
Oh, he quit
He
himself
did it.
again.
Oh, because every time he
Yeah.
does, I guess every time he leaves the app, he like turns off the stream
Yeah.
yard.
He
Yeah.
clicked
Oh
on the wrong
man.
thing.
So everybody in the
But
chat,
at least,
man, like, what do you guys think? What's up, man? What do you guys think about
and I
this?
see a lot of kind of fighting going on over there. Like, just calm your tits, guys. Calm down. It's
Okay,
okay. We're just talking. We're adults.
Boom.
I'm a,
Mic drop.
me and Peter, we're comics. We're fucking around. That's fine. There's nobody like wants to kill
Yeah.
anybody.
We're just trying to figure out. Like I said, we got David here. David's just teaching us this way, and like usually when I never really researched flat earthers till this interview, really. So I'm like, okay. So I just had more questions and more. I still got a lot of questions because I didn't know it was linked to conspiracy theory. So it's like, so now I was like, oh, it's
not
everything.
linked to conspiracy theory. It's linked to truth telling. It's linked
Truth-telling,
to
right.
we're being friggin' lied to about so much people can't see it. So, guys, I'm gonna leave it here. We'll do it. We'll do it again. Reach out in a couple months or something.
Definitely,
and,
definitely. 100%.
But right now, live on the Globe Busters channel is a 3-hour show about flat Earth. It's every week, and you can jump in the live chat there. You want to learn more? Go to Globe Busters right now.
Globe Busters
at the time of this recording, it's 3 p.m. Eastern on Sundays, and you'll if you have a question, throw it in the chat there. And you'll get it answered.
Thanks for coming. Just before you go, just tell us where we can get your app. Like
my app. If you're looking at this on a computer, just point your camera at this QR code. But it's called the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's on Android, a Google Play. You have to have an 8.0 or higher operating system, and it's on the Apple App Store. And it's you have to have an iPhone 6 or better. It's by remember this. It's by Blue Water Bay. There's some knockoffs out there by Globe Trolls, by Flat Earth Society people that are trying to hide the truth from you. They want you to download the app and get mind trapped again. So if you get their app, which is fine, it sucks. Don't send me an email telling me my app sucks because my app's awesome.
What's it called? Blue Water, you said?
It's called Blue Water. Blue Water is a company name. Will say Blue Water Bay. In the thing, but
got it.
The Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can tell it's mine because it has 4.7 stars or 5 stars. Read the reviews. You'll see that it's worth the $2.99. And and I'm not doing this for the money. I walked away from a
Why not?
Well, I am doing it to get by. I realized that what I can support myself with this. But I walked away from a high 6-figure salary. So trust me, I'm not doing this for the money. Right? I walked away because this message, here's the thing. If we ever get our freedom back, how long can we hold it if our minds are locked in a friggin' prison, which is the ball, and we're lost in space spinning out of control? We're not going to be able to hold it for long. So if everybody wakes up to the flat Earth, we win. Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm down, David. David, we're definitely down for part 2. Probably part 3 because I want to talk about conspiracies. I want to do conspiracies, like an episode just conspiracy. Like what you said, truth telling. Like you said, truth telling. Like I want to see like the Illuminatis and like different like social higher.
You got
it. So yeah, but definitely I want to do like a part 2 with the Zoom so you can show us
All right.
Change our beliefs. We'll change our beliefs.
Belief is the enemy of knowing. You can believe anything you want. Knowing is a whole nother story.
It's what it is, man. Sure. David, you've been great.
Right. And my YouTube channel is there. I have nice short videos there. If you want to go there, it's the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. DITRH. Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And my website, podcast, and I think Instagram, all by the same name, The Flat Earth Podcast.
Got it.
All right.
I'm down. So, David, thank you, man.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for coming. You've been a really great sport. Thanks for being part of this. And if you're up for a part 2, you're more than welcome.
let's give it a little time. Reach out and just watch out for the trolls that will follow me everywhere. And
but that's what we got trolls
we
too.
already saw that, but what's cool is they subscribe to our channel. So thanks.
Trillion's already here. Yeah.
Thanks
So you'll see that if you go to their channels, they have zero content. They'll be commenting on every post, every comment, and then go to their channel. They have zero content. Because that's how many proofs there are for the globe. There's zero.
Yeah.
If I believe the Earth was a globe, I would make a channel with all of the proofs of the globe, and then I would go troll every flat Earth channel out there. But these guys do it, and they do exactly what I did, but there's zero content because there's zero proof of the globe.
Yeah. All right.
So
Well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Shout out to Zulu One in the chat. See you guys.
There we go. See you, man.
Have a good one, David. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
So
that was the 34 for weirdly the afternoon. Usually we do it at night. Don't miss that tonight episode is going to be a vanilla version of the 34 without any guess, if my memory serves me well.
I believe so. At 8:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Ah, shit, man. Don't forget, belief is the enemy of science, so we have to know for sure.
Well, God, no, it was fun. It was interesting.
What's your take, man? What's your take?
No, I was interested. Like I said, I never met someone I always heard people I believe the Earth is flat, but they didn't really go in deep with it. But this guy, I was like, oh shit, okay, the guy's going in, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going in as a student. I'm just blank slate. I just want to hear what he's got to say. I want to hear
same
I
here.
don't want to argue anything. I just want to see what is he saying, or why is he thinking this way? What's the belief system? What's the different types of beliefs in the flat Earth? So it was cool. I
have to say though that it didn't change my mind. I'm as dumb as a rocket scientist. I'm as dumb as a rocket scientist. I still believe it's a blue marble spinning into space. But because I didn't watch it enough, and some of the arguments, it's
I'm definitely researching.
That doesn't make sense, or there's no alternative explanation. And I'm like, I'll have to check it because I cannot take it to face value. There's no alternative explanation.
Yeah. I'm definitely. I'm going to research this stuff. It's going to be it's a gateway drug. I like this.
Oh yeah. It's flattered the gateway drug to fucking conspiracy theories. Is that what's happening?
That's what I'm interested because when I was with the stuff that I looked at, it was very connect. It seemed very connected. So I was like, I was actually interested. I didn't know it was they believed that pretty much the Illuminati and stuff like that too. So I was like, okay, so now it's the Illuminati is making you think the world's round. So I was like, oh, okay, I didn't think of it that way. I was like, okay, now I have to research this thing even more for part 2.
Yeah, and you might laugh to some of these people, but think about it. Maybe the flat Earth for a lot of people is kind of outlandish, and for me it is. But the basis of it is we're getting lied by the government, and there's some lies going on. So don't reject everything, but just the part where the government is fucking with us. That's a pretty good point, the starter point.
Yeah,
but you don't go flat Earther.
Because the government is they will fuck with us. Yeah, they'll fuck with us all the time. So it's so now when you're the government fucks with us, okay, well, what's true, what's not? And if you wanted the tax thing, and then it's oh shoot, you have people you have people that don't believe you don't have to pay any taxes, you won't have any repercussions. But then the IRS show up and you're oh fuck, so
fuck off that we exist.
So it's but legally, who knows, man. But definitely next time, man. And thanks for everybody watching, man. It's been great.
Yeah, and don't forget to tune in tonight at 8:30, same channel. This time it's gonna be with Victoria with a better internet and Claudio Capri, the 434.
The 434.
Thanks for coming. Yeah.
Yes, and it's every Sunday 8:30, Saturdays 2:30 with Joey Laflamme, and then we have the French version because we're from Montreal, Quebec, on Tuesday nights at 8:00. And and then we'll have an MMA. I'm starting an MMA talk show type thing on Fridays at 6:00. So yeah, man, we're wrapping it up, trying to do our thing, man. And thanks for watching, guys. You guys been great.
All right,
everybody in the chat.
See you tonight if you will. There you go. Bye.
Obrigado.